Hello, viewers. This is Attorney Naresh Gehi, and welcome to Green Card with Gehi. And the great news is that our offices are open for business. This means that all our offices, including the Forestal's office, the office in Ozone Park, as well as the office in Jamaica, is physically open. And the numbers for our office are as follows. For the Forestal's office, our number is 718-263-5999. That's for the Forestal's office. And we are handling immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. For the Jamaica office, our number is 718-764-6911. And that's located in the heart of Jamaica. So if that's an office that is convenient to you, Jamaica, Queens, New York, not in Jamaica, the country. And our third office, it's on the border of Richmond Hill and Ozone Park. So if you live in the Richmond Hill area, the most convenient office is located at 10405 Liberty Avenue, Ozone Park, New York. And the number for that office is 718-577-0711. And if you are from out of state, there's a very easy way for you to reach us. It's info@gehilaw.com is the best way to get in touch with us. Info@gehilaw.com. And the secret is that info@gehilaw.com comes to me after it's screened by my paralegals. So if you are serious about your case and if you are looking at an attorney to handle your case, you can get in touch with us. But if you are handling your immigration matter on your own, then you can call USCIS directly. So our free personal consultations are meant for people who are interested in hiring an attorney. And even if you're located in any state of the United States, Gehi and Associates can assist you with your immigration matter. We handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. And our email address, once again, is info@gehilaw.com, info@gehilaw.com. So info@gehilaw.com is our email address. So folks, welcome to our show. So today, let's basically talk about a very important issue. And we have 2 more minutes to basically begin the show. And so the show is live. You can ask us your questions on Zoom. And firstly, thank you so much to everybody for sharing this video and imparting this knowledge to people who may be needing this desperately. And the reason we chose this topic about TN visas is because a lot of my Mexican friends complained because I only spoke about Canada, so my apologies. So today we're also going to talk about Mexicans who can actually use the TN visa. So today's show is about TN visas. And next week, a very important topic. We're going to talk about spouse visas, which means this is meant for people who are American citizens, as well as for green card holders who are sponsoring their spouses in the United States and who are going to sponsor their spouses outside the United States. So the topic for next week's show is going to be how to sponsor your spouse who is in the United States or who is abroad if you are a citizen or a green card holder. So the topic for next week is sponsoring your spouse for a green card if you are a permanent resident of the United States or a US citizen. So that is going to be next week's show. So it's 6:30. Let's start today's show. The TN visa. So what is the TN visa? The TN visa is meant for Canadians and for Mexicans who want to come to the United States and work. So how is the TN visa established? The TN visa was established under the North American Free Trade Agreement. So what is the North American Free Trade Agreement? Not many people like to talk about the history of NAFTA. The North American Free Trade Agreement is a trilateral agreement between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So it's a treaty actually between the three countries for the betterment of trade between them and for the free flow of trade between the three countries. So under NAFTA, the TN visa category was formed in order to assist people from Canada and Mexico to work and live in the United States. So most Canadians are allowed to come in if they possess the requisite qualifications. And what do we do for people who actually are in Mexico and who are in Canada and are interested in coming to the United States? So we have a particular program in our law firm wherein we guide them. So Komal has raised a hand, but we'll be waiting for the show. Then we'll be happy to take your questions, Komal. So what we do here is it's very important under the TN visa category. The first thing is that you need to make sure whether your particular category is in the list of occupations for the TN visa. So you are a Canadian citizen, you're looking at the show, and you are a citizen of Mexico and you're watching the show. What's the first thing you need to do? You need to look at the fact whether your particular category falls under the TN visa qualifications. Now, just to talk in the abstract, if you're an accountant, if you're an architect, if you're a computer engineer with a bachelor's degree, and if you're a lawyer, and if you're a dentist, the good news is think about the TN visa. Plus, the good news is there are many other occupations, like a management consultant is also included in the TN visa category. So first thing is, look at whether your occupation falls under the TN visa category. So then if it does, then if you're interested in working in the United States, you will need an employer. And what do most people do who are highly qualified? They get in touch with us to basically give them legal advice how to go through the process. So there have been people who had the qualifications and they retained us, and later on they found an employer after they were guided properly. And after finding an employer, they were able to secure the visas. So the question is that the most important thing for you to do is to make sure whether your qualification is included under the TN requirements of the North American Free Trade Agreement. It's very easy. Just Google TN occupations under the North American Free Trade Agreement. You went through that. You're very happy, excited that you are qualified. Next step is send us an email at info@gehilaw.com so that we can start talking to you. And then after that, we can legally advise you as to what would be the correct way for you to proceed further. That's number one. Of course, you will need an employer. So that gets done. Why do people like the TN visa? People love the TN visa, especially when they're Mexican citizens or if they are citizens of Canada. Do you have to be born in Mexico to be a Mexican citizen? The answer may be no. Do you have to be born in Canada to be a Canadian citizen? No. You can acquire your citizenship by naturalization. So take an example, you immigrated to Canada, now you're a citizen. Good news for you. Think about the TN visa. Now, the best thing about the TN visa is that it's valid for a period of 3 years. It's a non-immigrant visa, and you can extend it forever as long you have the job with you. So that is fantastic. Also, your wife or your husband, if you're a member of the same sex, can join you under the TD visa. So which means that even if you are married to a member of the same sex, they can come in. And your children under the age of 21 can join you into the United States. Your spouse and your children can come to the United States. They can go to school, but they're not allowed to legally work in the United States. which means that they come in, they can kind of go to school, and they can be a dependence. Now, very often I get a question that, Mr. Gehi, I am here as a Canadian citizen here, but my wife just came in from another country and she just got a permanent residence to Canada. And can she come with me? Or she's on a student visa in Canada. Of course, she can come in on a TD visa. So look at the twist here. She doesn't have to be a Canadian citizen to come in on a dependent visa. Isn't that wonderful, folks? So those are some good things about the TN visa and the TD visa. Now, why is the TN so important? Because, as you all are seeing, that H1 is becoming very difficult these days. And even after Trump's restrictions, the TN is still open. So consider the TN visa. And even when you find an employer, let them know that have an attorney who can work with you. Now, why do a lot of Canadians approach us? Because most employers in the US are not familiar with the intricacies of the law, and sometimes they get very nervous. There's nothing to be nervous when it comes to the TN visa, because the employer does not have to undergo the labor certification process or the labor condition application. So when it comes to H-1Bs, you need the labor condition application. When you need the green card, you need the labor certification process. So in a TN visa, we do not need the labor condition application. And above all, another good news about the TN visa category is we do not need to show the prevailing wages. In an H-1B, you need the prevailing wages. But if you're a Canadian citizen, or if you're a Mexican citizen, the good news for you is that you do not have to show that you have to get the prevailing wage. And that's an amazing benefit. After that, we get a lot of calls from our viewers that I've been into this country on a TN visa. Is it possible to get a green card? There may be a possibility for you. So that's step number 2 when you come over here. So these are some important issues which I want you to know about the TN. It has just amazing benefits. And it's so simple that you can email us at info@gehilaw.com if you're a Canadian, and we can talk further. And it can benefit a lot of people who actually are interested in settling in the United States on a temporary work visa. Remember, the TN visa is a non-immigrant visa, which means under Section 214 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, the person who actually is applying for the TN visa has to show that he or she has a non-immigrant intent. A non-immigrant intent means that you definitely intend to return to your home country after the expiration of your visa. But as I did mention earlier, the good news is that you can indefinitely extend your stay in the United States. Honestly, I don't personally see the link over here between the non-immigrant intent, that's my personal opinion, and if a person can extend the visa for the rest of his life. So I believe they should make this category similar to the H-1B, wherein people should be given the dual intent, which is not the case in a TN visa. And that will be a good addition if basically Congress makes that change. It's going to be very helpful to a lot of people who are here in the United States. So those are some of the basics of the TN visa. Now, what is a TD visa? A TD visa is meant for the spouse of a Canadian citizen. Now, what can TD visa holders do? They come to this country on a TD visa, and if they're Canadian citizens, then they should go to school, and that's your spouse. They can enhance your qualifications. They can get on a student visa, and or they can, if they have the qualifications, they can continue looking at the H-1B visa or look at getting on a TN visa on their own. So there are options for the spouses. So what have some spouses done? And this is something that not many lawyers talk about. That's why we've been handling a lot of E1 and E2 visas for the spouses of TN visa holders. So for example, you're on a TN visa. This is very interesting. And your spouse is on a TD visa. And if he or she is business minded and she tells you, hey, listen, honey, why don't we start a business in America? She should consider the E1 or the E2 visa. So now the good news is that instead of having one bite of the apple, you have two bites of the apple. So you can continue on a TN visa, and she can also apply for a change of status into an E1 visa or an E2 visa, depending upon the facts and circumstances of that particular case. Now, if she gets on an E1 or an E2 visa, she can start a business in America. And if the business does well, good news for you. You can become her dependent. And that can really be good for you to make a lot of money in the US. So dealing with Canadians and with Mexicans is something that we've been regularly doing in terms of these visa types, like the E1 visa, the E2 visa, the TN visas, the TD visas. We've been regularly handling these cases, especially because, eventually some of them may want to settle in this country. They're exploring options. So a lot of people from Canada and from Mexico actually send us emails, especially when they're in business, they're owning businesses, they really want to have the setup in America. We can help you to settle in the US if you have the right qualifications. And if you feel that, there's a way out, we may be able to assist you. So there's a lot of correlationship between the TN visa sometimes, the E1 visa, and the E2 visa. So if your plan is to settle in the US, we can help you in that regard. And at least we can review your case and let you know. And if you're serious and if you are looking at retaining an attorney, then you should contact us. But if you are kind of basically interested in doing your paperwork on your own, then you should be calling USCIS directly. If you're an existing client, a warm request is that come in and see us or email us your question. Email is the best way to reach us. Because of COVID, sometimes we have restrictions, but we have to comply with the governor's rules and the orders. If you email us, then we get back to you. So let's start taking some of the questions and answers. So if you have any questions, you can start and we'll be happy to take your questions, and we can start with the chat. So here is my chat to people to help. Okay, so you all can start. It's 6:43, so you can start raising your hands if you have any questions. So we'll be happy to take your questions. And about the TN visa and the TD visa, and if you're an existing client, please do send us an email at info@gehilaw.com, because due to privilege reasons, I may not be able to answer on the show. So you'll have to send an email to us at info@gehilaw.com. So Kalpana Botra has raised her hand. Yes, Kalpana, may I have your question, please? Kalpana, please do unmute yourself so I can listen to you. And basically, please turn on your video screen.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, that my son is a US citizen, and he has actually, he has made like his wife is in India, and he has already done all the paperwork with the USCIS, and her wife is waiting in India for the interview call in Mumbai consulate. So do you have any idea like what will be the process now in this COVID time?
Well, I mean, was she interviewed already?
No, she hasn't been interviewed. She all the formalities in US has been finished, and the paper has gone to the NVC to India.
Okay, so the way it works is that the NVC has forwarded the paperwork, give it 4 months now because of COVID. They're very slow. And unfortunately, the president has cut a lot of staffing in immigration. So things are going to move a little slow. So you can anticipate around 4 to 5 months for sure.
4 or 5 months?
That's just an approximate that I can tell you at this stage.
Okay, so you don't know that whether the Mumbai consulate is working or not?
They are working, but at a very slow pace. At the state, they're only taking up emergency cases.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Gehi.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Yes. Yes, there are some other people who raised their hands. So we would request you to just give us your name first for the record. And everything is recorded. So we need to make sure that everything is kind of, in proper, everything on the show is recorded. Yes, Mr. Cover. Mr. Cover. Or Miss Cover. Please turn on your, yes. Hello? All right, please unmute yourself on the show because it'll be difficult for me to kind of answer your question if you do not unmute yourself. Cover? All right, so let me take the next question. What's easy way to migrate to USA? Does lawyer need to be NCA from Canada? Okay, if you are a Canadian citizen, then you should consider the J visa once if you pass your bar exam and go through the entire formalities. It may be good for you. So now we have Mohammed Faruqi. So Mohammed, may I have your question, please? Please unmute yourself so I can take your question.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Mohammed, I can hear you.
Long story short, my wife went to US on F1, F2, then she converted to H1, then she filed her green card. She got her green card. After that, she filed I-824 behalf of me. But in January, I got a letter stating that my date is not current. So my question is that what is my, like on what category do I come in? F1A, F2A, that's my question.
I will have to look at the letter first. So what you can do, you can send it to info@gehilaw.com because I need to analyze the facts because this should not be the case. There is some kind of, something doesn't sound right here because once if she got the green card, I don't see it to be a problem. And I'll have to look at whether she was under the EB1 or whether she was under the EB2 or EB3 category. So the very first thing for you to do, Mr. Faruqi, is to email us at info@gehilaw.com.
It's a EB2 category.
Yeah, the best thing to do, as I said, if you could email the document to me, I can look it up for you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much. Yes. So folks, sometimes we cannot do much until and unless we look at the document. And we can take it from there to let you know exactly what the procedure would do. Now, Sujal, so has raised a hand, and you have Maz Muhammad. So Maz, your question, please.
Hey,
Where are you calling from, Maz?
Ontario, Kitchener.
Very nice. Yes.
My question is, a lot of employers, there's a question when you apply, like, do you need sponsorship? So
For the TN?
Yeah. So the answer is yes for TN.
Maz, can you speak a little louder if you don't mind?
Sure, absolutely. So when you apply for jobs, a lot of employers have this question, do you need sponsorship?
Yes, so the thing is that the sponsorship is not that difficult because the thing is that if you meet the qualifications, and most employers are hesitant because they're scared. So what we've done in the past is that we've acted on behalf of Canadians. And once we get retained, we get in touch with the employer because the employer wants to know the process, whether they'll be in trouble. But we make sure that we explain them this is not like the H-1B process. And it's much simpler provided you meet the qualifications. That's one bet you have, Maz. The other thing is that if you are experienced in any business, if you cannot find an employer, then you can also consider the E2 visa in this case, if you're a Canadian citizen.
So the answer is yes, when we apply for jobs, we need sponsorship. So TN is considered as sponsorship.
Huh?
So TN is considered as a sponsorship. That's what I was looking for.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes. So TN is considered to be, you need an employer to sponsor you. But the difference in the E1 and the E2 is that you do not need an employer to sponsor you. That's a very good question. Shrujal, I love your car very much. Are you kind of giving away your car to me or something?
No, not really.
It's such a beautiful car. I thought you were telling me that, well, as a part of the show, I'm going to just send you the car after the show is done. I'm just kidding.
It will be very nice of you.
Yeah, tell me how can I help you, Sujal?
Okay, so my question is, currently, is the processing for the TN visa is going on or it's stopped now?
TN is fine. TN is good. The E1,
Yeah.
E2, and TN are fine.
Okay.
That's why a lot of Canadians are looking into this.
Okay. So what will be better? First, should I find a job and then should I go for TN, or I should, prepare for the
Okay,
TN and
first thing
then?
is, what do you do, Sujat?
I'm a business analyst.
If you're a business analyst, you have two choices.
Okay.
One is look for an employer,
Okay.
get in touch with us. Or if you're a business analyst, do you know that you can also start your own business in America?
Yeah, I can start that.
And if you do that on the E2, the good thing is that you can do much better than a TN visa holder. Because
But what should be the minimum
just 1
investment?
second. Because you don't have to have a lot of money. Depends on, for example, you're a business analyst. What kind of industry have you worked in?
I have worked in software industry.
Very good. For example, if you can start your own software company, show your experience. For example, how much would a person need to start a software company? Example, I'm not giving you a number. You'll have to think about it. $20,000, $25,000,
Yeah.
$30,000. You can get it started on your own. And you need to just have a very strong business plan that you're going to develop your business. Now, I'm talking in the abstract. Take an example. I'm a business analyst from Canada, and I'll tell them, like, listen, you know what? Example, I am a hardware engineer. What do I need? Is an office. I need to have a few computers. I need to show them that I have all the equipment and I've rented a space and I have all my brochures and everything ready. Give or take $25,000 is spent, then immigration knows that this is substantial investment. The law on the point is substantial investment. Sometimes people think you need 200,000. The answer is no. It depends on what the business requires.
Okay.
You love the answer?
Yeah, definitely.
So which means you have to tell me that how much your business would require objectively, not subjectively.
Okay.
And we have expert opinions, put that up. Then you come in on an E2 visa. After you come in, you can basically start taking contracts directly under the E2 visa category. Means you can work for yourself.
Okay. Yeah, that will
And
be
you
great.
don't need a sponsor. That's the beauty of the E2 visa. And
Yeah,
you have to
definitely.
be a Canadian citizen, but.
Yeah, I am a Canadian citizen. I have recently acquired the Canadian citizenship.
And that's one way to look at it. That should be a better bet for you. And have your own business in Canada. And, then you should be able to succeed for sure in the US.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you sound like a Gujarati. Most of my Gujarati clients have done very well in America.
I know that.
So info@gehilaw.com is the best way to reach me.
Okay.
And if you email me, then I'll be happy to talk further to you. I
Yeah,
hope I was
definitely.
able to answer your question.
Yeah, it was very nice of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jai Sri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So now let's take our next chat question. Now, this is a question. I have 15-year education, BCom, do I qualify or not? You will have to look into the TN visa qualifications and decide what has been your experience. And then once you look at the job requirements, if you fit it, then you can still qualify. You may still qualify for a TN visa. You may. So it depends on your work experience and whether NAFTA allows you to come into the US. You may.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Rakesh.
What happened like during this coronavirus? Can I come to US and go to the Canada? I am right now on H4 visa in US. Can I go to work to the Canada right now?
Well, you can only work in Canada if you have working documents. And I do not do Canadian immigration.
No, I'm Canadian citizen, but I'm on H4 visa. I'm living right now in US. Can I travel to and then no problem during? I don't have stamp on my visa.
Honestly, no. I would not travel at this stage. No. Because the problem is they will give you a hard time to come back.
Right now, they have it like until the 31st December, Trump some order. That's why
I do understand. Remember one saying in English, prevention is better than cure.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Prevention is better than
cure.
Because I'm a deportation lawyer. I've done some of the worst cases in the country. One thing you learn as a trial lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done tons of trials in this country. Unlike most lawyers, I haven't been to the courtroom. I'm a courtroom lawyer. So one thing which I've learned from judges over the years, if you can prevent something from happening, prevent it rather than happening. Because after that, things are just going to get difficult for you, Rakesh. And you may retain me, but if I'm not happy, I won't even take up your case. I would not recommend you at this stage, my brother, to take any chances. Because I'm your well-wisher first, then I want to be your lawyer.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, folks, it's good to be honest and upfront rather than just basically telling somebody that this is a possibility. And I do not do that on my show. Of course, as a professional attorney, I cannot guarantee about a case because no lawyer in this world is allowed to give you a guarantee, because that's what law, medicine, and professional occupations are all about. If you do not win your case, be a good sport. Be a good sport to accept your decision and keep trying until you succeed. कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती, which means if you keep trying, you'll do phenomenally well. So let's take some more questions. And if anyone has a question, raise your hand or just basically use the chat board. And thank you so much, folks, for the overwhelming response. And you all are just a fabulous audience. I always like to thank the people behind the show. Thanks to Dan, Mr. Ahmad, and Amin for doing such a fabulous job with me. So do we need visa stamped on passport on TN visa? Now, the only time you need a stamping on your passport is if you're going to travel outside the country. So let's take an example. You are in the US right now and you change your status over here. Excellent. You can start working once if you get the approval. The only time you need a stamping on your passport is when you intend to travel abroad. So only when you think that you want to go outside the country, then you need a visa stamp. What is the definition of the word visa? A visa is a document that allows you to come into the United States. That's the definition of a visa under Section 101 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So some people also want me to let them know the sections, and I love to basically recite the law. And by God's grace, once if I read something, I stick it in my head and I try my best to explain it to our viewers in the most simplistic terms. Next question, please. And either you can type your questions or you can email us. Whatever's good, we'll be happy to work with you folks. Cover has raised their hand. Cover, your question, please. Hello? Cover? All right, Cover is having some problems with the mic. Unmute and we'll be happy to answer your question. If you are an existing client of the firm, the best way to reach us is at info@gehilaw.com. And if you want to start a case with us, if you want to reach us, our office is physically open now. So we are not operating remotely, we are actually operating now. So you can email us. And what is the cost of an E2 visa from Cover? It depends, and it's not that very expensive, but the cost can be discussed depending on the type of business you have. And you can email us at info@gehilaw.com with your name and number so we can discuss the pricing. Now, I'm a PR in Canada, and last 4 years I'm working as a computer field technician. I did BCom, MSc, IT total. Am I eligible for working? Now, if you're a PR in Canada, I would recommend you to become a citizen of Canada first. Then I see a silver lining in your case. So that should be pretty good for you. So this is pretty good. If you're a PR in Canada and if you're a computer technician, first thing you need to do is become a Canadian citizen. Then I think you may have a very good chance for a TN visa, or you can start your business under the E2 visa category. So that's very important. So you're waiting for your citizenship. So after your citizenship, you're going to be eligible. That's a very good question, folks. So if there's any other questions, you know the secret. We have 3 offices in New York. Come in and see us. Besides handling TN visas, even E2 visas, do you know, even if you've had a deportation order from the United States, and if you're in Canada or in Mexico, we may be able to assist you. Or if someone has sponsored you for a green card to the United States, you can reach us. Doesn't matter where you are in this country, or if you're abroad, if you're in any part of the world, and if you're watching this program. So thank you, folks. Next week program, let's make the announcement again. Sponsoring your spouse, if you're an American citizen or a green card holder who is in the US or abroad. Very important show for people who want to sponsor their spouse for a green card into the United States This is Attorney Naresh Gehi. The instant program constitutes an attorney advertisement. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome. We are physically open and we handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. Thank you for watching. Share this video and be ready for your question and answers on Green Card with Gehi every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.